Hey, how are you, Peter? 5:59.
I'm working on it.
Absolutely uncivilized hour to have a meeting.
There's a lot of different, I'll take notes too.
Right.
That's figure that's something I can do.
Well, you can take notes too. I don't know how much talking we're gonna do.
Maybe it's-
He's looking at something here. Guys, can you hear us over here at the town?
Yes.
Thanks, Brian.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello, Brian.
All right. According to the official clock, it's 6 o'clock. And we have a quorum, thankfully. So I'd like to call to order the regular.
Sorry for wimping out.
Oh, please, no worries. She said, sorry for wimping out.
Oh, no problem, Judy. Okay, so we're going to call to order the regular Woodstock Planning Board meeting held via hybrid for January 19th, 2023. We do have a quorum. Are there any updates to the agenda?
Just one thing, we got that project narrative from Robert Stein, which was helpful.
Right.
That's
sorry
it.
about that, yeah. And who's gonna represent Stein, you know? Oh, they're
We've
there,
got lots of
okay, here
people
we go.
online. Approve my minutes.
Okay, so what we have tonight before us board is 5 sketch plan reviews. 2 of them are actually seconds, I believe. So the first one is RS Equities Trust and the estate of Betsy Stang, which is Planning Board Case 23-0995B. Or A. And this is a sketch plan review for a subdivision application for a lot line revision to revise lot lines of 2 parcels, resulting in 2 new lots of 6 acres and 74.16 acres in the R5 zoning district, located at 626 Wittenberg Road, and its contiguous lot, which is in Wittenberg. And Patty Brooks represents the applicant. So Patty, could you tell the planning board what they're planning to do?
Yeah, I think that you gave a good overview of it. Again, we have an existing parcel that's 1.2 acres in size. We're planning on adding a 5-acre parcel to it for a resultant 6.23 acre lot. Has access over Jonay Lane, formerly the Wispel Road. And we're just taking the lot and increasing it by 5 acres in size.
Simple enough. The 2 things the board, of course, will need to see is your Board of Health approval, septic, and curb cut from the Highway Department. So planning board members have questions for the applicant, for Patty? Anybody?
No.
I do not.
No questions?
Would you guys like the plat? I have it ready to show if you need it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, we
Do-
all kind
Is,
This looks like you're adding a little more property to the one. There's no change in buildings or septics or anything,
No, I
right?
mean, he wants to build a house, but that's his purview.
Yeah.
He's making it more
Right.
compliant with
Yeah.
the law.
So again, do we need Board of Health approval on a lot line revision? They're not planning construction in the near future. so-
Not from us, you don't. If you're
Okay.
gonna build it, if you're gonna
It'll
build
be
it.
later.
That's
It'll be later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so no,
Okay.
you know,
That's the building department.
just definitely access, so curb cut, you're gonna wanna look into with the building department.
we don't have,
I hear you, Robert, keep talking.
is there, I don't know that there's any access issues because we're on Jonette Lane and we're not, we've got an access on the 1 acre lot on Jonette Lane, and we've got a whole lot of access for the 5 acres that's being added to it on Wispel Road. I think that's part of what the summary planning statement that we sent you today sort of indicates. So I'm not clear on why we would need a curb, what we're getting. We're not getting a curb cut on anything.
It's already existing.
Well,
existing.
yeah, I mean, I know that cabin, I've been in it, I know the roads, I've been stuck on it. As long as it meets town highway department to the town for a private drive. It's as long as it meets
You know
the
what?
code.
Well,
Call and talk to Scott Bonestell, and his secretary is Heather. She's great. Have him come out and look and send me an email, just that it's up to specs and there's access, appropriate access.
Am I correct that this is the existing parcel and you're adding this part?
Correct.
That is
That's
Well,
correct.
Obviously, the existing parcel has access, and there's West Bell Road, Jonette Lane, so
So Robert, Patty, is that town kosher? Give Scott Bonestell a call over at the highway department, just so he can give me some information.
I'm not sure, could you repeat that? I'm not sure I.
Oh,
understood.
absolutely.
Okay,
Scott Bonestell is our highway superintendent, and his secretary is Heather. If you call me tomorrow morning, I can give you the phone number. If you just
Okay.
call and say you're going through the planning board for a lot line revision, and the planning board is asking just if the access is accessible and approved by him, and just call, he'll come out, he'll look, and he'll let you know what he thinks. And if you do actually need a curb cut, he will determine it, and then it'll go through the building department and him. But if you don't, he can call that right then and there.
okay.
Sound good?
I guess that Patty and Andy, is that, Andy Zweben's on here too. If there's any question, you have any issue on that? Or question?
No,
about
I have
that?
no issue on either of those issues,
That's great.
neither of
Thank
those questions.
you. That sounds
Thanks,
great.
Eddie. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
So
thank
Robert,
you.
I'll be in touch.
I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll probably schedule a public hearing. This is pretty simple.
Okay, and that's the only other question I have is the next, how do we get this to be, what's the process to get this approved? Is it one public meeting that can be done?
Well, you need a public hearing. So I
Right.
want to wait and see what the result is from the superintendent. And based on that, Chairman Cross and I will determine whether you need another meeting or if you need one more sketch plan review, or if we go right to public hearing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep, it's really important that the road meets town. I've been up that road.
Thank you.
It's not a road.
No.
It's a dirt path
That's what I figured.
that I
Let's
got
throw it
really
at
stuck
Scott.
in.
Let's throw it at Scott.
Okay. Our next.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You all
you.
set? Okay, guys. Okay, the next sketch plan review is Rodrigo and Maria Carlos, and it's planning board case 22-1137D. This is the second sketch plan review of a subdivision application to decide to subdivide one lot of 31.9 acres into 3 lots of 25, 3, and 3 acres in the R3 zoning district located on John Joy Road in Woodstock. And the rep is Catskill Regional Surveying Services, but I guess Rod is going to
What are you guys doing with it?
do it. So why don't you tell the board what you're planning to do? But especially the 2 new members here. We've seen it a few times, so make sure they see it.
Would you like me to explain anything to you there? Or is it self-explanatory?
I think it's self-explanatory. So this is the largest lot.
This is John Joy Road.
Mhm.
And this is what green,
And this is someone else's.
that's some, excuse me,
This is someone else's property.
this is somebody else's property, yes.
oh, I've got Corollas up. Isn't that the right one?
Yes. Sorry.
John, I'm trying to not do paper. That's why you didn't have an agenda. But I'll make one for you. if you
So
want.
Judy, I don't know if you've looked at it from the
Mapping?
mapping point.
I've got that available. We can look at it right now. I just have to go to a new share. Just a second. Okay, so this is the property. Obviously, I don't show the subdivision, but you can see the wetlands and the streams. And since the road and the photograph of the road all pretty much agree, and that looks like, I mean, I can turn off those streams just so we can see. There's another buffer here. There's another wetland buffer. Okay. So there is a stream. There is another stream. So I don't know if that's as much information as you need, guys, but can you see it?
Just for the new members again, as Rod probably knows, I mean, as John probably knows, there's a lot of wetlands in there. And so the trick is to not infringe on the wetlands of the buffer.
And I think probably these marks on the plat are the wetlands, but I don't know if that's the buffer or not. I will get in closer and see what we can see.
Not up to date, so.
I am looking at I'm looking at the wetlands buffer. It's 100-foot buffer.
We're gonna have to have the wetlands delineated.
Again,
Because it was
this
2000.
delineation doesn't work?
Well, it's funny, the state and feds are only good for 5 years. Talk wetlands law doesn't give a time. In order for the board to see clearly where the wetlands and buffers are, it's going to have to show on the map.
It clearly shows where the wetlands are.
There's no
But what
buffers.
about the buffer?
There's no buffers.
It's 100-foot
It doesn't show
buffer.
the buffer,
But-
that's why we're here.
It's 100-foot buffer.
Show the buffers.
Is this one buildable or does it have a buffer?
Question.
Mhm. That's why it really needs to be on the map.
So, I mean, the actual subdivision isn't the issue. The issue is access for the development without getting in the wetlands.
I'm looking for where the scale is. 1 inch is 2,000 feet, but I don't know what 1 inch is because I'm looking at it on the computer.
This would be the access to that.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so the question for you, planning board. Can you use the delineation as is and just put in the buffers? And we see what we're looking at?
As I
Should we
said,
start with
our
that?
law doesn't have a time limit on delineation. I mean,
And here we are. But that would give us more to look at.
it would.
It would help us to see if the lot is actually.
Why would you show the 100-foot buffer?
The buffer, because what we'll have to do, Rod, is if you go into the buffer, then we got to add buffer somewhere else. We got to mitigate.
The land.
Will it be okay if I show it with my pencil?
No,
It's-
it has to be professionally done.
Well, let me point something out here. I just moved the map over and we've got a couple of things that are 200 feet that are marked in this parcel. You see it?
That proposed.
So half of that, it looks to me like it's a very near thing. If a half of this red line were translated over to there, it would fill up most of the space. Which is kind of what my map says. If I go back to my map,
Ron, it's a beautiful map. You just need a little bit more.
Well, the only thing that I'm thinking is if you had it redelineated, just this area that you got to work with.
see, this is the stream. The wetlands have a wider
Delineator
buffer.
may not call that. I call it.
Peter, you're cutting out.
I'm pretty strict. I core every 30 feet.
You know, delineators and everybody, surveyors, delineators, it's like pulling hen's teeth, finding them.
No, it is.
I mean,
But our code is no
Yeah.
net loss to wetlands, so we have
this
to.
is surveyor.
I know.
Well, the first one was the good one, you know. Bob
Well,
Ross.
we always try to tell
Hey,
people,
you
if you got a
rest in
big
peace.
piece of property, you want to divide it, do it all at once. But anyway, again, ask the board members if they have ideas or questions that they want to see.
Because this here was
I know,
from when the poles were there.
I know,
So,
You know, when the
Ron,
electrical
but
was
it,
there.
but it poured hydro soil, so, but anyway,
Rod, tonight after the meeting, I'll write you an email that you can literally forward to, Rob did this, right, Allison? Did you, Matt? Or
Can I
Rob?
make an observation, please?
Sure.
One of those lots is clearly so overlaying the wetland and the buffer for the wetland, which is 100 feet, that I don't see how you could do it. The other lot, this is an intermittent stream according to my map. Now, a delineator would have to confirm that, but I could see the possibility of mitigating with an intermittent stream. That's a very different sort of animal than a wetland is.
actually, Judy, it's a drainage ditch, it's not a water course. It's a drainage ditch, but because of that, it's got hydric soils. It's not a stream.
Well, I guess the question I'm asking is, that lot, arguably, he could do something about mitigation on that lot. I don't know how he could do it on this one, because the wetland is so close to the road here.
So I think, Rod, you might be better off.
Well, obviously here I have plenty of room for anything I want. For the lot.
Well, she just showed 100 foot. So
Here, there's plenty of room.
All right, well, we need to see the buffers. It has to be drawn, so tonight after the meeting, I'm gonna write you an email. If we start with seeing the buffers on this map, not getting delineated yet, it might, but you need to think about possibly getting them delineated again, because it might be beneficial, as Chairman Cross just said. But when you're gonna get the extra work done on these and you're gonna get the buffers put in, you're gonna wanna put in the access, you're gonna wanna put in the proposed houses, because remember, they can't, you don't want it to go into anything, and that's what we need to see. But
I'm
will send
aware
you
of
an
that.
email.
I'm aware of that.
I mean, you may be able to ditch that, Rod. I mean, that's, again,
I think you might be able to buy you space.
This part here, definitely we can do away with. Over here, what happened here is everybody's been dumping on me, including my good friend here. Okay, this is his mother's property, and he kind of fixed this so that to get the water out of there. And guess where the water went?
I know. But
This here, this is not tree. Hardly ever wet.
I remember Ellen saying.
There's a drainage ditch that they don't. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But this is hardly ever. Definitely wet. Was by this, but it is what it is.
I would. do
This
what
doesn't,
Melissa
this,
said,
I don't think this matters anything.
So,
But the road will have to be now for 2 lots. You're gonna put a building on this lot too?
With this here,
Yeah,
I'm not doing anything right now with this.
okay. So,
Let's leave this out of it, not to complicate matters. As a matter of fact, I'm probably just gonna keep this the way it is.
Rod,
Okay?
need a boat to get through there.
Well,
close.
a slow boat, a slow
Well,
boat.
high boots.
So Ron, I'll send you an email tonight. with
Okay.
What we need for, and Ron,
Yeah.
yeah, we really gotta display those buffers, so we can see what we're dealing with, that's their job, is to
Because
show us
we-
exactly what we need.
We have to do a wetlands,
I mean, the scale of the map is 1 inch, is 100. Well, what I really gotta do is put a ruler here, 100 feet.
stay out of it, and then you won't have to, go through the whole thing, because otherwise we gotta go through wetlands and water course, and mitigation. So if you get it delineated and stay 100 foot away from it, you're good.
Right. I don't have to do that. We gotta
Every
see what-
time somebody bumps a map against that microphone, the sound goes out. Just so you know.
I don't know where it was.
All right,
Or,
Wow.
all right, Ron, I will send you an email, okay?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
We'll get
Crazy
there.
driving.
oh,
out there.
yucky out
Be
there.
careful.
There was a pedestrian coming across, what's it called? Sylvia. Walked like it didn't matter. I think he might have been drunk.
Stay
That's
tuned.
not a good night for that.
No, I think so. Anyway,
All right,
thank
guys.
you, folks. I'll
Take
look
care.
for your email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.
Okay,
Oh, well.
our next one is also a second sketch plan review. Okay,
Judy, you can hear us?
Yeah, now I can.
Perfect.
okay.
So this is
Next-
Taylor. We've
Yep.
got 3 different drawings. Which one do you want?
Oh.
All right, the next case is Telex 137 Holdings LLC, SUP number 22-0449A. This is the second sketch plan review of a special use permit application to construct an addition of a second floor master bedroom suite, including stair access and new entry to an existing dwelling in the R5 and scenic overlay zoning districts located at 276 Meads Mountain Road. North Engineers is the rep. If you guys want to know where it is, it's at the access of Day Road where it goes off of.
Michael North is on the call.
Michael, you there? Owen, and Owen is also, Owen's the owner.
Okay.
Either of you wanna, we need you to talk. Maybe.
Good evening. I think, can you all hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. Pardon me if I'm a little groggy, it's pretty early here. I think, you know, the drawing and the project kind of speak for themselves. I don't know who was up there. You know, the whole reason for this building is the view. And we have a bunch of mitigation going on with existing windows on part of the building where these very dense laurels are providing a pretty good blockage as is indicated by the drawing. And I think the field visit would have verified that. I think I provided the numbers in the latest drawing of the percentages that were asked for in the last meeting. So if this is the updated drawing, I think I updated one of the 2 drawings. There were 3.
Which one do you need? This one or the one I was
No.
showing before?
No, I had revised the one that you were on before.
Okay, I've got
And
another one.
I sent you a newer version of that one that had the dimensions because the planning board had asked for the height.
Is that it?
And I sent you the newer one.
I gotta get it up here. Just a second. I think it's this one.
Okay,
This one?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
That's the one that's in response to the planning board's last meeting. I was asked to show the height, which you can see on the upper right-hand side. That's the maximum height. And that's not even, you know, the average height or anything like that. And and then there's a discussion of the percentage of windows down in the lower center. And those are the numbers and things that were asked for. And also the existing height, which is alongside that.
Okay, so there's some questions for you. The spec sheets for all the materials, for the roof colors and the windows. We need to know if any trees are gonna be cut down. So on
There's no
site,
trees, there's no trees that are affected by it. The siding is to match the existing, which is a dark gray. You know, it's an addition, it's not a new building. So, and the roofing material is gotta be a, you know, an EPDM or rubber roof at that kind of pitch. And
Can you
it
give me
won't
the
show,
sample of that color?
it won't show from the, you know, view side because of the way the pitch of the roof is, so.
Michael, can you send us information and like color, like PDF of what the roof plan is? So the planning board can see that?
I don't have, I mean, it's whatever color you need. I mean, environmental regulations usually call for a light color to minimize the thing. I'm not sure what color rubber roofing is. It's usually, I think, a gray. It's a pretty innocuous color. I think you can probably get white, but that would be a little stark. You know, I mean, at this point, we don't have a contractor and we don't have, because we don't have permission to build. So I haven't investigated rubber roofing.
My memory of it is it's kind of blackish gray, sort of a slate.
Well, the building is, yes, it's a.
But I mean, rubber roofing, it looks like what you would think it would be.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the
And I
main
mean, it's
question now
not
is
facing, the roofing is not going to be visible from the valley. So, you know, it's the siding and the glazing. And we're mitigating some of the glazing. You know, that's the best we can do. You know, you don't want to put up a master bedroom here and not have a view.
Hey, Michael, what we gotta have in order to process this is we need to have the elevation showing the amount of glazing on each elevation. And if it's over 25%, then we have to do mitigation.
Oh, I've
We
written that.
actually have that in our hands. We actually have to have those plans in order to approve.
Those numbers are on the drawing, Peter. At the scale it is on my laptop here, I can't read it that well, but
I can come in closer. Give me a second. Which number do you want?
the lower middle, the text in the lower, yeah.
Glazing.
Yeah.
36%.
So the relevant side from the planning board point of view is the side with the most glazing, and it's the side facing the valley, which I'm calling the east side, and that sort of southeast actually. But that's the existing glazing is 36%, of which 15% is screened by the bushes that are there, meaning that it's currently 21% unscreened. The proposed is that 21% glazing with the view, 8%. So this is now the new total, the proposed. It's 21% glazing with that's not screened, and 8% that's heavily screened. So it's 29% total. So, you know, we're mitigating that 29% to get down below the 25% threshold. The other sides, as you can see from some of the drawings, have very little glazing. They don't face the valley. I didn't calculate, you know, what's going to be there. I believe there's a couple of small windows on what would be the north side facing his garden. There's nothing significant facing into the hill on his mountainside. You know, since this was only basically a one-room addition, I didn't want to spend the money of drawing the whole building. But the you know, the discussion is definitely on the sort of south side, which is really south west. There's going to be one new window on that second floor, as shown in the elevation on the proposed northwest, and there's a diagonal entry which would be facing kind of north, actually, although it's showing up, you know, it shows up in the west elevation. Currently there's a door. You can't see my cursor, right? There's a door that's also, currently there's a door that faces, a double door that faces north in the most extreme part of the northwest elevation.
Can you see it?
That's the new door. Further to the left is where the old door is that's going to be covered over, because that's a hallway. Yeah.
You guys have questions?
I actually have a question based on my aerial photograph, if I could ask it.
Sure.
Okay, let me get there. So that is the current house. These flyovers were done in 2021. What is all this right here?
That's a steep slope below the deck, below the house.
Okay, so you're adding over here, right? Where my hand is?
Yes.
Where's the glazing going to be? This side?
Yes.
So it kind of, it does very little tree blockage over this way because.
Right. Well, that's the point. There's a view there. I mean, it's the view of the valley.
Yeah.
And the stuff that's there's also would be a view more to the right in the other part of the L, but that's being heavily, those are bedrooms, and those sliding glass doors are the ones that are heavily screened by the laurel.
Oh, that's here, isn't it? I keep forgetting how
Right.
elevations work.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
these are where the mountain laurels are, and that's the piece that's sticking out to the right in the drawing.
Right.
Okay. So the area where we were concerned about glazing and the screening is actually right where my hand is moving now.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
You guys can look at that. Really, the house itself is kind of isolated. It's the day road, but it's kind of tucked away. The only issue here is dealing with the 25% glazing. And it's just because that's the code. It's not in a it's not in a position where it's going to be seen, I agree, but we got to deal with the 25% code.
What does the screening imply? It's still glazing. There's 15%.
It's
15% is screened on the east side, for instance.
But it's 20, you only allow 25% on elevation. So if you go over it, you have to mitigate, which hangs, it can be done with shades, it can be done with
Two large rhododendrons in front. I look at the light, I'm trying. There's two large rhododendrons in the front. I just need to know if you, the planning board, okays that for our 4% that we need, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would
There's
point out
pictures.
that
Owen was gracious, and Owen, actually, the owner of the house, sent me all these pictures. It, as Peter just said, it's pretty isolated. He already has the house up there. Yes, there is a view there. The house is already established.
It's
It's
a
an addition,
sensitive area.
but.
It is the genesis of our scenic overlay law.
actually I thought that was California quarry.
Excuse me?
Day Road.
It is Day Road, isn't it?
Well,
The
this
entrance
is,
to Day Road.
yeah, the bottom.
It's not on the
It's
top
not on
of
the
Day
top.
Road. It's on
Well,
the.
I understand that this is not where that was.
Yes,
But
but this
it's
is
just
an
a-
addition. This isn't a new house going in. This is an addition to create an upstairs with an entry.
As long as we can show mitigation.
So, planning board, there's some beautiful two rhododendrons. I don't know, they're probably beautiful when they're blooming, but not right now. Do we
And
count that as
I would
4%
excuse-
mitigation?
Excuse me, can I interject the sliding glass doors that are being mitigated by the rhododendron? I was calling them laurel, but I guess I'm mistaken. I'm not a plant expert. But they also have screens on them, and one of them is inside a screen porch that's in that sort of corner of the building, which you could see the screen porch roof from the aerial. The whole screen porch is kind of hidden by the rhododendron also, but that.
So Mike, if you could show us elevation of that building, of that side, show us the elevation with the glazing and mitigation measures you're taking to get it to a 25% will be good.
Well, I mean, that's what this drawing is, this proposed south elevation. It's, if you look through the green trees, you'll see that there's two sliders there, and they're standard size sliders.
So Mike, what Peter's asking for is we need to make up that 4%, and you need to tell us how we are. So you
I would
need,
like to make a point if I might.
absolutely.
The sliders with the rhododendrons in front of them are really not likely to be very visible anyway because they're set back where my hand is moving now. Where you're adding the second floor is here, and that is where it is most likely to be visible. So it
Yeah.
seems to me that the mitigation has to be on those second floor windows and first floor windows that are shown in the drawing, because the problem with elevations is they make everything look flat that isn't flat. This area back here is set back, and it has the bushes in front of it. This part sticks out toward the slope, and it doesn't have bushes in front of it, and it is higher. So where you're needing mitigation is where my hand is moving.
Exactly.
Well, by the regulation, it's that side of the house, and the regulation is for each side of the house, the percentage glazing. And that definitely, yes, it's set back some, but if we took out those rhododendrons and took out that screen porch, which is another form of mitigation, those windows would be violating your scenic overlay.
You're talking about this screen porch?
No, I'm talking about the ones behind the rhododendrons. That is a mitigation, and the fact that there's sort of double mitigation there. There's window screens or door screens, and there's the rhododendron.
I'm trying to ask you a question, Mr. North.
Yeah.
My question is, this whole area is closer to the slope, to the downslope, significantly closer. And so if anything needed mitigation, it is this stuff, and I don't see any.
Well, I'm saying that by the regulation, that doesn't say that. It says that each elevation, and this is the south or east elevation, whichever it is, southeast, that's, the regulation says that if you have more than 25%, you've got to do mitigation. We have 29%, and 8% of it is mitigated. So we can put some screens on, and I think probably should put screen on the upper leftmost sliding glass door, because that not those, the over further, which is also slightly set back, but it's not set back as far as the other ones behind the rhododendrons. That's set back about 4 or 5 feet. And, you know, the screen, window screen can be put on that. And the window screen can be put on the window below it. But in master bedroom, those view windows don't open. Window screens would be, you know, an impediment to
There,
the whole reason you put this addition on.
but there are low reflectivity glasses.
Oh, yes. Well, we would use the low reflectivity glass. That's,
So Mike, when we sheets for the low reflectivity glass, and we need to see it mitigated, and we need to see what you're using. So we need the spec sheets for the glass you plan to use to get planning board approval to get to a public hearing.
That's right.
Can I jump in for 1 second? Because
Sure.
something
Hi,
I'm not
Owen. It's
understanding.
Melissa.
I didn't hear that.
Hi, Owen.
Hi, how you doing?
Well,
Great. So mitigation means when Michael talks about on the extreme left, putting screens up, that would be part of the mitigation if we had screens on those sliding doors on the.
absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so
Your drawings need work with the mitigation
Okay.
for screening and to make up for, you know, Michael keeps saying view. Well, the whole point is we don't want to glare and to see a white spot.
and I agree. So, but on the bottom floor, we have 4 panes. 2 of those panes have screens on it.
These, you mean?
Correct.
Okay.
They
So
have
we're
black
concerned
screens on it.
about the addition top, Owen.
Yeah, no, because my understanding is we're talking about the whole south view is what I'm understanding on the percentage, just not what's on top.
Yes, but what we are concerned about is glare that can be seen from the valley.
Absolutely.
It's likely to be here.
Correct. But what I'm also saying based on what I'm understanding from this conversation with the regulation is that there's X amount of glass and X amount of coverage. And you have to fall within that in order to meet the code.
well, Owen, I'll bring up the fact that, you know, the low reflectivity glass is going to cost you a little bit more than standard, but it's not going to ruin the value of your bedroom.
Yeah, no. And that's fine.
So, I mean, if the planning board wants us to specify that for the new windows, I don't see that there's a problem, and I think you're right that they're taking the regulation and they're trying to apply it as strictly as they can, and maybe more than the way it's written. But you know, it's easier to put in the glass that they want to accomplish what they want than it is to try to stand on a interpretation of an ordinance.
And this is Brian, if I may, have we exhausted this conversation and do we understand the next steps?
So you need the specification sheet for the low reflectivity glass.
And we need your
Which you-
plans to reflect that information.
Okay.
I didn't
All
hear
right.
Not to say reflect, since we don't want anything to reflect.
Okay, yeah, we'll skip
Thanks,
that word.
Judy.
We'll let that information pass through to the drawings. How's that?
Very good.
Thanks, Owen.
Okay,
you.
Okay,
Take care. Have a good night.
thank you.
I think eventually what's going to happen with the scenic overlay, we're going to require all glass to be non-reflective, period, and be done with it.
I'm with you, Peter.
I have always thought screening was not.
No, but you take the screen down.
Put 'em away.
Take the screen
Oh, yeah, we
down.
took the screens
In the
down.
winter, you take the screen down
3 years ago to clean them.
No, I never take the screens down on my sliding doors.
Okay, here we go.
Next up.
Next up. Okay, next sketch plan review. is Diane Katz and Todd A. and Diane Katz Trust, Planning Board Case 23-1116A. This is a sketch plan review of a subdivision application for a lot line revision to revise lot lines of two parcels, resulting in two new lots of 5.8 acres and 3.03 acres in the R3 zoning district, located at 253 Upper Bird Cliff Road, and its contiguous lot in Woodstock. And the rep is Colin Houston. He's here. Colin, please tell the board what you're planning.
Okay, how is everybody tonight? Let's see, we got two parcels going in. The smaller parcels, 1.94 acres, and the larger parcel that has an existing house and is totally built out is 6.91 acres. The smaller of the parcels was once upon a time an illegally subdivided lot. I legalized that with the planning board in 2007 for the prior owner. In that process, we had to jump through all kinds of hoops, which at the time wasn't so great, but now I'm glad we did it because I think anything that I could see coming up in here has already been dealt with. We got Board of Health approval for it. We got engineered plans for the driveway going through. We got a road maintenance agreement for the driveway. So that's all set. What we're looking to do is essentially these two properties, there's a steep ledge that comes through the larger parcel. So there was a bunch of lowland area that is adjacent to the smaller of the two parcels. And essentially what we're doing is two things. We're making all the low area go along with what's on that map as lot number 2. And we're also, even though it's a legalized lot because we went to the planning board, we're bringing it up above the 3-acre threshold. So it's now going to be a conforming lot. And there is a small piece that's coming off of the smaller lot and going to the larger lot. And the reason for that is we wanted to use the stone wall there as a boundary. And the stone wall was just an interior wall that didn't mean anything to the boundary, but we're using that as the boundary for that
That's
lot.
this one here?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Good idea.
So that's pretty much it. We're just adding a little bit of land to a smaller, although legal lot.
All right, Colin, good presentation. Board members have questions?
Both of these lots are owned by the same people. So
Did you say something about an escarpment, or are there any wetlands on the property? I haven't pulled up the map for it.
No, there aren't. I didn't see any. Nothing got pulled up when I
Okay,
did the EAF.
I'll take a look. I can
And
get,
there's nothing on the parcel here. There's nothing there.
well, they don't have everything, but
Feel
I'll,
free to have a look. I've tramped every inch of that place, and my boots stayed dry. I can tell you that much.
good.
All right, Colin. Well, it looks good. It's a fairly simple lot line revision. I don't see any issues.
do you want to waive since it's the same owner?
Hmm?
Do you want to waive since it's the same owner? Your call.
It's a pretty big lot line revision. I
It's
mean,
all up to,
it's
we
not
can do a
like a
public
little,
hearing. Okay. Absolutely.
just because it's technically a subdivision.
All right, we will schedule a public hearing. Colin, I will be in touch probably early next week to schedule a public hearing.
Okay, great. That's what I was hoping for.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Okay.
That's what.
Yeah, it looks fine. I just found it on the map and it looks fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Judy.
It's, I know it's what. Okay. Our next sketch plan review is Edward Romanoff and Catherine Julia Carberry, special use permit number 23-0559A. This is a sketch plan review of a special use permit application for transfer of special use permit and modification of a special use permit 20-0559 to an owner-occupied short-term rental of a 3-bedroom from a non-owner occupied 5-bedroom dwelling in the R3 zoning district located at 7 Fox Hollow Road in Woodstock. And the rep is Susanna Scott Mitchell.
And Ed is here, he's the owner. Hi Ed, it's Melissa and
And
Susan
I'm
is
here.
too. Hi,
I'm
guys.
here as well.
Okay, well, this is just a straight transfer. I guess I could just ask a simple question. Did you decide to move in there, or why are you changing things?
They
Sorry,
bought
I
it.
didn't catch the tail end. I didn't catch the tail end of your question. I'm sorry.
It's the first one we've ever had to go from a non-owner occupied to an owner occupied.
Yes.
So I was just curious
There's
why.
all these little.
Well,
You guys
we-
recently bought the house, right?
Yes, we're longtime residents of town. We were on California Quarry, and then we moved recently to Fox Hollow. And there's 2 dwellings, and we're full-time residents. So we were exploring. Initially, we thought it would be just transferring the existing one, but the previous owners, they weren't living here. And so our intention is to live here. And then we're exploring the ability to short-term rent the cottage. And we want to explore also the possibility as an option to maybe at some point rent the house with the cottage together. But we don't want to confuse matters. Essentially,
Handled by Mr. Hoffman, the CEO, just so you know, you want to clear all that with him. He does the enforcement for the short-term rentals in the building department.
Yeah, we have spoken to Butch
Just wanted to
about
make
that.
sure. Yep.
But you're
We
all good
submitted-
with us. We can waive any further review. This is just a transfer, and as Melissa said, the rest of it goes through the building department. So unless
Absolutely.
you
And it's
guys have questions.
Non-owner to owner.
Yeah.
This is what you want.
Yeah, it's a good switch.
All right, Ed and Susanna, the planning board is giving further review. I will draft a resolution for them to approve at the next meeting, and then it's just paperwork. You guys are done with meetings with the planning board. Give me a few weeks for paperwork.
well, thanks you guys. That was very educational, and thanks for what you're doing.
Good luck with your new house.
Oh, thank you. We love it. Thank you.
All right.
You gotta do minutes and communications. The
Oh.
first page.
All the way to the beginning. There we go. Well, it's simple enough. We have an email from Ms. Copeland regarding Calamar Lane, an email from Ms. Shurian regarding Calamar Lane, an email from A. Coffer regarding Calamar Lane, and an email from L. Lover regarding short-term rentals in general.
Okay, minutes, January 5th.
So
What were the concerns regarding Calamar Lane?
they're all negative.
What a
They all
shock.
think
There's
that,
a
yeah, what a
picture out
shock.
there.
You surprised, John?
The issue is that it's Hamlet commercial.
Hamlet commercial.
So commercial is permitted in that district, all kinds of commercial activities, but very few are not permitted.
It's a
So
zoning issue. yeah.
the special use permit meaning for us is that it's a permitted activity requiring a special use permit. So all we can do is put conditions on the permit. We can't deny it. Same like we'll have in the scenic overlay coming up.
I have a question. So one of the things that was raised by Sandy Shurin was that they said, and this had confused me, coming in 2 weeks ago, is that their first proposal, she was saying, was for long-term rental housing.
Okay, so
units.
I'm gonna answer and address right now. This application came to us first as a wetlands and water course.
Mhm.
Not a site plan review, not a special use permit, a wetlands and water course to infringe upon, to do the footbridges. That's basically what, and then there was a cabin, right? This parcel was in a bad fire, completely destroyed. There was houses. The only reason it came to the planning board was a wetlands and watercourse permit. They are back now for the project. That's as simple as I can kind of make this.
Well-
The project could be morphed. Do you like,
Well, let's put it this way. When they presented to the planning board, after the buildings were burnt down and everything clean, they had 4 residences proposed, which would have been long-term rental. One was for the owner, so. Looked great, beautiful plan, nice job. Brad Will did a beautiful layout. We even approved one bridge because they own the property. Then they came back with a motel concept. So that kind of shook up the board a little bit because,
but we were under a moratorium also.
Would it, let me just ask
Timing
the
wise?
question, would the decision have been different if they had come in stating that it was going to be a motel? Would that have
Yes.
changed anything?
For some of our members, yes.
That's
I-
just, to me, it feels kind of very shady, slippery.
Sure, and it should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
it's-
exactly what it was.
yeah.
it's to make more profit.
And it's
Yeah.
taking, and I mean, I read through all of the letters and personally, you know, there's a major shortage of long-term housing and there's a lot of motels and options. So I mean, to me, I'm not feeling good about that.
One of the main questions, problems, issues that the neighbors have comes down to noise and disturbance. And the issue is that's a police case, it's not a planning board. If there's noise, you call the police, and the only thing I can suggest, as we did with short-term rentals, non-owner occupied short-term rentals, is when we create part of the law, that it's called 3 strikes and you're out. If you get 3 complaints where the police are called to deal with an issue, and it happens 3 times, you lose your, in the case of short-term rentals, you lose your license to operate.
Peter, may I say something?
Yeah, sure, Judy.
I understand your point about being hamlet commercial, but we still can take account of neighborhood character. And even though it is zoned commercial, the area is primarily rental residential, long-term, and some individual houses. And I think it does make a big difference. It's a large piece of land, and to expect to wait for there to be trouble when we can anticipate trouble,
Okay.
I have some problems with. I also am really unhappy when we said 1 bridge and they come in with 2. And I said something last time about an attractive nuisance. I want to point out to the owner of the land that if somebody tries to climb that bluff and breaks a leg, they will be liable. I mean, the orange.
This is a bigger, this is a hotel motel project.
But,
Should we bring Nan on? Like,
well, let me just answer Judy. Judy, one thing you have to remember, it's hamlet commercial. And when
That doesn't mean that everything can go just because
the
it's
town
commercial.
decided to make that a commercial district, you can look into the future, maybe 10, 20 years from now, and it could be all commercial. Because that's the only area we got in town to be commercial. There may be a lot more commercial buildings put in.
in the next few weeks, just something to think about. In the next few weeks, they'll be back. They've been working on this. They're talking to everyone around. They will be back to give you guys an update. We sometimes, new planning board members, use consultants, and we have a pretty good planner that we're gonna start to use. And if we want to bring her into this, we would collect escrow from the applicant and have her review the application and kind of be our consultant in this and what we need, what we don't, what we can ask for mitigation, what we can't. We don't have to agree with anything that she says, but it's helpful. So it's something to think about. Brad Will and Michael Arnstein will be back in the next few weeks. They're eager to get back. They're eager to start their project. I know but this might be the time that we might want to utilize escrow and consultant.
And Judy, to your other point about the bridges, we approved the 1 bridge because it was for residents, long-term residents, and then they added the 2 bridges. And I agree with you that if it's a hotel, motel,
It's different.
I'm not good with 2 bridges going across to the Como property.
And I said to John, if we have to amend it in the end with mitigation, we have no problem doing that, but we need to get there.
There's another point I would like to make. They tore down the old cottage that was actually sticking out over the stream. Cool. They moved it back into the buffer further away from the water, and they did some things with it that would form mitigation. Okay, now they've got a second building that they're proposing to have in the buffer. And somebody did some hand waving about mitigation. I
Yep.
think we've got, the camel's got its nose under the tent here.
Yeah, look, it's Brian, if I may. The bottom line is they have every right to come in with a proposal and they have every right to change it if they think that's a good idea. And we have every right to scrutinize it and then make a decision on it. It's that simple.
All right.
10 minutes,
Any other questions from planning board?
January 5th minutes. January 5th minutes.
The minutes from
January 5th.
January 6th. If everybody's good with them, I propose we accept them as is.
So moved.
Judy? Okay.
Thanks, guys.
No vote, I wasn't here.
All right, well, members, any other questions?
Well, I mentioned to Melissa that I would like at some point to talk about bird strikes on windows.
No?
And I went to an Audubon seminar. Graydon said something about homeowners don't like those. Well, maybe they don't understand how much damage to the bird life is being done by glass. And there are mitigations. I have it on my house. I have it's like monofilament fishing line, but it has been tested and it makes a difference. It's not the ideal, but it does.
Typically, Judy, we've seen some really reasonable people that come to us and mitigate really well.
Right. I'm not
typically, so I think if you suggest and we start implementing that, we may get lucky.
It's a problem, Judy.
We can't enforce it, but we could educate people, and some of them will take our education seriously. I will contact Audubon and see if we can get some brochures we can give people.
That'd be great.
It's a problem. I get 3 or 4 bird strikes a year. I get 3 or 4 a year that hit my windows.
I don't know.
Because they're corner windows and the birds think they can fly through it.
So why can't we enforce
It's not written in the town code.
I think it's not in the law.
I think we can bring it up. I think we can talk about it.
Would you ask, John?
Why can't we enforce it?
It's a question. There are, you don't have Audubon certainly is a remedy for you, Julie. But believe it or not, right here in our area, Adams has got a really savvy person. And I have tried 3 or 4 of their solutions for bird strikes. I have 30 windows in my house. My house would never pass our 25% glazing standard, but I'm not in the scenic overlay. So one of the ones they suggested was one which kind of looks like a spider web. Very simple. That one we tried starting about 1.5 years ago. The most successful. Forget all the other ones, probably aesthetically a little bit more pleasing, but I mean, they have everything if you want. I mean, anything you could possibly imagine. And a series of lines is what I would like to call them, really work very well.
Well, I have.
What?
Yeah.
I have it. It's made out of monofilament. They're spaced about every 3 or 4 inches.
No, this is a decal. It goes right on the glass.
Oh, I'd love to.
It's a decal with a picture of what looks like a spider web with a rectangular bar in the middle of it.
And that's in Adams, right in Kingston.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, it works.
That's great.
It works. I mean, many years ago, when we redid the house in '06, bird strikes the first year were horrible. So we started looking, we had leaves, we had silly pictures of owls and everything else to try to dissuade the birds to move. There's only one side of the house, but a lot of them are committing suicide.
3 billion birds gone because of various human activity. 2/3 of the American bird
Then you got the-
population.
Then you got the crazy cardinals that sit on my truck mirror and peck at the mirror all day.
It's a different problem and harder to solve.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me bring it up, and I will see I'm going to check out the Adams question because I've got 3 big windows and 4 actually. And I've got those monofilament things hanging, and maybe there's a better solution than that, but it seems to do some good.
experimentation.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well. Okay, that was a whole group of sketch plans.
Adjourn the meeting.
So
And then you can have a meet and greet.
Oh, we want you, oh, wait, yes.
We can do that after the.
Okay, to end the meeting.
okay, so all in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
All right,
Bye, guys.
Good night.
thanks, everybody. Drive
Bye.
safely, please.
Thank you, you guys too. Take care. of
Really?
yourself.